Well, folks, the Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl 60 champions. They get the win over the New England Patriots 29-13 to get their second Super Bowl title in franchise history. And of course, they get revenge from 11 years ago when Russell Wilson mindlessly threw that ball at the 1 yard line that ended up getting intercepted. And listen, the final score of this game might have been 29-13. But the final score was a lot closer than this game actually was. This was a flat-out domination by the Seahawks and their defense. Of course, that is the story of the game. The Seahawks defense, the dark side as they've been called, put on an absolute masterclass in the game last night. They made Drake May and that Patriots offense's lives look miserable throughout the game. I mean, the defensive output in this game was similar to Seattle's first Super Bowl title against the Broncos in 2013. I mean, you had the Legion of Boom in 2013, and now you have the dark side in 2025. Two defenses that are going to go down in NFL history and Super Bowl history. Total domination in both of those games. And of course, Mike Macdonald, the second-year coach with the Seahawks, becomes the third youngest coach to win a Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker III named your Super Bowl MVP. And listen, we knew that he was going to have a big role through the rest of the postseason, especially after Zach Charbonnet went down with that torn ACL a few weeks ago. And, of course, Walker gets named the Super Bowl MVP. He had 161 yards from scrimmage and became the first running back to win Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis of the Broncos did it nearly 30 years ago. And, of course, along with the Seahawks defense, their special teams played a huge role in this game as well. Jason Myers outscoring the Patriots by himself with a Super Bowl record 5 field goals in the game. And listen, overall, this game stunk. It was another Super Bowl dud. We were hoping that we didn't get another dud like last year with the Eagles destroying the Chiefs, but I think you could argue that this game was even worse than Eagles-Chiefs last year. And before the Seahawks ultimately found the end zone in the fourth quarter, people were starting to draw comparisons to Super Bowl 53 with the Patriots and Rams. And you could have a conversation about that. But nevertheless, we all knew going into this matchup that Seattle was clearly the better team. I mean, I was listening to a lot of the interviews from the sports radio shows this past week when they were at Radio Row in San Francisco, and I hardly heard anyone pick the Patriots to win this game or even cover the 4.5, and understandably so. And I mean, if you think about it, the Seahawks were the more battle-tested team going into this game. Going through that NFC West gauntlet, especially late in the year, and of course they get the bye. They destroy the 49ers in the divisional round who had a bunch of injuries, and then they just get by the Rams in the NFC title game. And listen, Sean McVay, the head coach of the LA Rams, you could understand why he was so mad after the Rams lost that game, because he knew that the winner of that matchup was going to win the Super Bowl. But nevertheless, when it comes to the New England Patriots, you can't really say the same thing about the Patriots as it pertains to the Seahawks, where they did not have the schedule that the Seahawks had. And listen, we've been saying it throughout these last couple of weeks. The Patriots having the easiest strength of schedule since the 99 Rams. And this was the game. This was finally the game where it caught up to them. I mean, even in the postseason, going up against the Chargers with Justin Herbert, who has yet to have a good game in the postseason. You had the Texans in the divisional round with C.J. Stroud playing like he was intoxicated, turning the ball over all game long. And then you had the Jarrett Stidham-led Broncos in a blizzard. And on top of that, Drake May overall was terrible this postseason. And it ultimately caught up to them. 4 postseason games for Drake May, and not a single one of them was good. And then in the NFL honors, listen, I know it's a regular season award and all, but you have to feel that the voters got it right, giving Matthew Stafford the MVP. And listen, you could especially see that in the game last night. Drake May was horrible. He was holding on to the ball too long. He looked frazzled, and that Patriots offense did nothing in the game. I mean, you can make a case that this has been one of the worst offensive performances we have ever seen in the Super Bowl. They did not score a single point until late in the fourth quarter. Garbage time. It was already 19-0 when they finally scored. This is the first Super Bowl matchup where there was a shutout through 3 quarters since the Steelers-Vikings Super Bowl back in 1974. And at the same time, you can definitely credit the Seahawks defense for that. And listen, when it comes to the Patriots, one thing that we've learned, we can't necessarily say anymore if a team is going to be back in a Super Bowl or not, because one thing about it, Super Bowl windows can close just as fast as they can open. Now, look, you can't control who you play against, but at the same time, you have to tip your hat to Mike Vrabel. I mean, a nice little worst to first story took this Pats team, who won only 4 games last year, to a Super Bowl this year. I mean, it's a good job by Mike Vrabel. And let's see what the Patriots do next year with that first place schedule that they got to play as far as the regular season is concerned. And then, of course, we get to the Sam Darnold story. And as we know, we went over this, Sam Darnold was viewed as a bust over the last few years. 3 years with the Jets, he goes 13-25. 2 years with the Panthers, he goes 8-9. He went to San Francisco as a backup for a year. Then he goes to Minnesota, goes 14-3, and gets embarrassed in the last 2 games of the year against the Lions in the Week 18 and then the Rams in the wild card, and Darnold didn't play well in either of those games. And then he goes to Seattle and wins the Super Bowl. He becomes the first quarterback from the 2018 class to win a Super Bowl. Not Josh Allen, not Lamar Jackson, not Baker Mayfield, Sam freaking Darnold. And the thing is, we just saw an all-time great redemption story with the Indiana Hoosiers a month ago with Fernando Mendoza, who's all but a lock to go number 1 overall to the Raiders in the NFL draft. And now we get another one with Sam Darnold. And the thing is, Sam Darnold played an average game. He did not play all that well in the first half, and the Seahawks still had a 9-0 lead going into halftime. He was missing a couple of throws, and he missed a couple of home run balls that would have been walk-in touchdowns. And if Sam Darnold was good in the first half, then it's probably 31-0 at halftime. I mean, you wouldn't really have to pay much attention to the game after Bad Bunny, because the game would have been over. But it's like I told you on Friday night when I made my Super Bowl pick. If Sam Darnold had an average game, Seattle wins. The only thing that the Seahawks could not do was turn the ball over and make too many big mistakes. And not only do they win the game, but they pull away late and win by 2 scores. And guess what happened? Sam Darnold had an average game. The Seahawks didn't turn the ball over, and they pulled away late and won the game by 2 scores. And by the way, the Seattle Seahawks became the first Super Bowl champion to go an entire postseason without committing a single turnover. I mean, boy, oh boy. If I came to you guys, if I turned this mic on the Tuesday after Labor Day, and I came on here and said that this Seahawks team with Sam Darnold was going to win the Super Bowl, you would have looked at me like I was crazy, like I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. I mean, this was something that we did not see coming by any stretch. And as a matter of fact, when I made my season predictions, I picked the Seahawks to finish 4th in the NFC West. I finished them to finish dead last in the division, and now look how stupid that prediction looks. But nevertheless, how about the city of Seattle? I mean, it was only a few months ago that the Mariners got their hearts ripped out in Game 7 of the World Series against the Dodgers. And now a few months later, the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl. So congrats to the Seahawks organization and congrats to their fans. The Seattle Seahawks, your Super Bowl 60 champions. What a team. What a season. What a story. And with that, probably the weirdest NFL season that we have ever had comes to a close. And it's only fitting that the season comes to an end with Sam freaking Darnold being a Super Bowl champion. My goodness. What a season, folks. What a season. Like, comment, subscribe, click that notification button to be notified of when I post again. And also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports. And I will see y'all the next time. Peace.